This is big for the Phoenix Suns as we have some massive trade updates revolving around Jimmy Butler and some new potential details surrounding around a trade. Plus, star Kevin Durant is listed as probable to be back as we have some new injury updates revolving around him and some other Phoenix Suns. So, how will this team gear up for their game versus the Jazz, and how will they prepare for some possible moves in the future? We'll be discussing all of that and more on this episode of Suns Digest. I'm Bruce Velez, and without further ado, welcome back to Suns Digest. We appreciate all the support you've been giving us. We're going to dive into the video at hand today, so make sure to grab a snack. And like I said in the introduction, first, let's look at some new injury updates as the Suns do have some new players that have been updated on the injury report ahead of tonight's game. And that's something that is very important. If we want to look at this tweet from Dwayne Rankin, we can see that the Suns injury report at tonight versus Utah lists Kevin Durant as probable, with Jusuf Nurkic, Brian Dunn, and Grayson Allen not even on the injury report, which leads us to think that all three of those guys will be suited up and ready to go, even if Grayson went through a 20% of practice, which is shocking to me, as if you missed yesterday's video, you can go check that out. We detailed some of these injuries, going over the possibility of some of these guys coming back, and with Grayson being only 20% in practice, I thought he wasn't going to be playing, but it's great to see that he is removed from the injury report. Players like Nurkic, Ryan Dunn, Grayson Allen will be ready to go alongside Kevin Durant for this game, as Evan Sidery also confirms that Durant will make his return tonight from a sprained ankle against the Jazz. Now, obviously, the Suns are 1-9 this season without Durant, and that one win being against this Utah Jazz team. So, kind of funny that they're obviously going to come back and play against this team, and the Suns, if they beat the Jazz tonight, are going to pretty much dominate this Utah Jazz team when fully healthy. And people are going to be saying, oh, why do we need to make changes? Oh, why do we make trades? But you're beating a 3-win Utah Jazz team. Like I said, get these wins out of the way. Beat Utah, beat Portland, get on a nice little comfortable win streak. Feel confident going into at the end of this weekend and kind of push on towards the next steps if I'm the Phoenix Suns. Kind of get everything ready to go. But if we do see a disappointing loss in one of these two games, it is going to be absolutely heartbreaking. But like I said, Durant is expected to play, which is key for the Suns as they desperately, hit the wrong button, desperately need Kevin Durant on this roster. As we said, as we detailed, these injury reports are, going to be key for the Suns, and that is necessary. So let me know what you think down below in the comment section on this Kevin Durant news with him coming back. But we got some more news revolving around Jimmy Butler, as there's more Jimmy Butler drama breaking down in Phoenix, as we want to look and break all this down into detail, as a lot came out yesterday. So let's get into all of this. We want to look at the first thing that we saw was Jimmy Butler dyeing his hair orange. Yes, that's right, ladies and gentlemen. Jimmy Butler has been a known troll, has been known to do this, where he's been dyeing his hair different colors. He dyed it red, he dyed it blue. Now he's dyed it orange, seemingly, to let people know that he is wanting to go to the Suns. We saw Shams Charania come out yesterday, call out Jimmy Butler's agent, saying that his report is 100% truthful. Jimmy would like to go to the Suns, and we even got some more for their month on that truth from John Gambadaro, known as Gambo. And if you don't know who Gambo is, we all know Gambo is the true insider for the Suns. Gambo has everything. Gambo was first on the Tyus stuff. Gambo is in the works. And if Gambo knows something, he is going to let us know. So Gambo said, I'm going to do some digging. I'm going to figure some stuff out. And yesterday, he released all this great news. He said, what we have said is that Jimmy Butler is interested in the Suns, which is true. He expects the Suns are going to play this out for the next 15 games or so to see where they are before doing anything, to see if they can get right. And 3, a trade would be difficult, but not impossible, as Beal has to waive his no trade clause, and Butler has to tell Miami it's Phoenix or bust, basically forcing his way to Miami, or to Phoenix. Miami has to think Beal and whatever picks would be involved is better than salary relief or any other trade. Nothing happening anytime soon, though. Suns will play well next month. I doubt they pursue this. So get some updates, get some further details on that from Gambo here. And as Brandon Clean kind of went in on it, like he said, kind of rephrasing what he said, I would go as far to say that the Suns are Butler's number one choice. He also said that the Suns would not include the 2031 first-round pick in any deal, as they are holding on to that pick. But last but not least, Gambo says the Suns will wait another 10 to 15 games before pursuing a potential Butler deal. Gambo only expects it to happen if Butler pushes the only Phoenix button. So similar to what we were just kind of breaking down and going over, it's seeming like there are some restrictions, obviously, for Butler to arrive here. We all know that the Suns are in the second apron, and for the Suns to even acquire a contract like Butler's $48.3 million, they would have to trade away one of the big three. Now, they're not going to trade away Devin Booker, their franchise player, and they're not going to trade away Kevin Durant, the MVP-like player who has been atop of this league and been the main engine keeping this team afloat when he is healthy. Therefore, the odd man out is Bradley Beal, the newly acquired player last season that has a no trade clause. So, like I said, there's already difficulties there. One, Bradley Beal has to accept this, has to waive this no trade clause. Therefore, Bradley Beal would have to be willing to going to Miami and playing with Tyler Hero and Bam Adebayo. He was willing to play there a couple seasons ago, but will he be willing to go there again? And if he is willing to go there again, will Miami be even willing to take him this time when they're moving off a player in Jimmy Butler, when they realistically wanted to add Beal to play alongside Butler and Bam Adebayo? That's a question to arise too. Like Gambo mentioned, is the deal that the Suns are offering the Miami Heat the best deal that they can offer? If we want to look at a possible deal that can get done between just the two teams, we can look at this one here, which involves obviously sending Jimmy Butler and Josh Richardson to the Phoenix Suns, and Miami Heat would receive player in Bradley Beal. Now, this would be able to work. Both teams would be able to do this. Like we said, the Suns can trade one player for two since they do have that open roster spot. The Suns cannot aggregate salaries, but this would be a deal that could get done between both retrospectives if the teams accepted it. And obviously, there was draft capital involved. Obviously, the Heat are not just taking Bradley Beal for those two players. We know that the 2031 pick from received from Gambo would not be involved, but we don't necessarily know what other picks would be involved. Some second round picks, some other things as well that the Suns have. But also, the Suns, if the Heat necessarily don't want Bradley Beal, or if Bradley Beal doesn't want to go to the Heat, but he wants to go to another team, the Suns could still find a way to do this pursuing a three-team deal. And if we want to look at this three-team deal, courtesy of John Voita, we can say that this is the physical possible way as well. The Suns get Jimmy Butler, the Heat get Zach LaVine, and the Bulls get Bradley Beal. If you can convince Bradley Beal that the Bulls are a contending team, if the Bulls want to contend with Beal and Vucevic and some of these guys, the Bulls could make a late second season push, and Beal could be that number one, number two option alongside a good Chicago Bulls team. The Heat would then get Zach LaVine, a player they were also interested in, help out on their scoring, could be a little bit of a filler for Jimmy Butler. And the Suns obviously get Jimmy Butler. Now, I think for this trade, it's obviously a little lopsided. It's a little bit more favorable for the Suns. And like I said, draft capital would have to be included in this deal. The Heat would have to get some capital. The Bulls would have to get some capital. But if this deal were to go down, I think it's more favorable for the Suns. I think there's more of a realistical deal for this one to go down, but ultimately, it's just all up in the air. As Gambo has said, the next 10 to 15 games is the main focal point. So the Suns are going to evaluate how they look with Durant healthy, with Beal healthy, with Nurk healthy, with Don healthy. Is there injuries going to be coming up in these next 10, 15 games that are still going to hinder this squad? Most likely. If that's the case, then I could definitely see them maybe getting a little bit more antsy than they should have than earlier. If the team does look solid with this core roster, it looks like there's no issues, looks like it's back to square one like we saw at the beginning of the season in that first month, then I don't see the Suns making moves. But if the Suns, even if they aren't dealing with injuries, still are losing some of these games, the defensive issues are still coming through, even with Nurkic and Plumlee in that front court, they still are getting abused in that center market, then I think it is 100% going to get some changes done. And I'm personally in the boat that changes need to be done regardless. If we've seen with these injuries, this team can't stay healthy, and I know you might lose some value with trading some guys who are injured or have some injury history, but you want to move off of that so that you can at least have a chance to stay healthy in the playoffs and not leave it up to chance just because you're banking on a guy to stay 100% when you know he's been banged up 3 or 4 times throughout the season. So that's where I ultimately land. I still think the Suns are going to make changes regardless, even if it's around the edges, if not Jimmy Butler. But I think a Jimmy Butler trade, if Bradley Beal were to waive his no trade clause, would be perfect for the Suns. You add another wing at that forward group who can play defense. Yes, he's 35. Yes, he's going to be seeking a contract extension, but the Suns are all in with Kevin Durant, Jimmy Butler, and Devin Booker. And if you go and get Jimmy Butler, you bring him in, you have this workout. And if it does work out, you're pushing for a championship, you keep Butler long term. This is a free agent destination for people to realize that they can win a championship or come close to winning a championship. But if it doesn't work out, then you at least get off the Bradley Beal no trade clause. And you, even though you have an aging Jimmy Butler, you would have 3 star players that could be tradable assets for the foreseeable future. For if you want to reset in a year or two, you can do so. But let me know what you guys think. down below in the comment section what you ultimately think about the injury updates, what you guys think about this Jimmy Butler news, and what you ultimately think is going to happen with the Butler saga. Like I said, you guys have been absolutely fantastic, showing your love and support on the channel, so it's been really appreciated. And we'll catch you guys in the next video. Have a great rest of your day, and go Phoenix Suns. Peace out, everyone.